Okay, I think I should be up now. Let me just adjust a little bit. There we go, that's better. I had to adjust the height of my camera a little bit before I started. Okay, I'm going to give us a few minutes here as usual to get everyone connected and ready to roll. All right. Suppose I can probably move these out of here. I don't need these anymore. Those are the older ones. Okay, so we'll just give it a minute for the that number right there to change something other than a 0, of course, like usual. And once that has updated, we'll be ready to roll. All right, if anyone can hear me, see me, etc., please mention it in the chat so I know you're actually online and I can go ahead and get started. Because it's like 8:48 my time, so it's already almost 9 o'clock. Okay, good. All right, yeah, this number down here in the bottom corner for some reason just doesn't update right away, even if I've got people online, so I just wanted to make sure. Cool. All right, I'm just going to give it a second for that to update before I get started, but so bear with me for just a minute longer. Hey, Jersey. KnD dad, huh? Like KnD grandpa. He missed me and so does Matt. If you say so, Flim. If you say so. All right. It now says I have 8 people, which it's probably been 8 people for a while. But so I wanted to do something a little bit different to start off with this time. So people have been asking me about the next Ultimate Armor, and I wanted to mention that briefly before we got started. So the very first Shadow Forged armor that was released since the Spectral Elite is this guy right here. This is I've shared this in chats before, but just so people can kind of see it. This is called the Crystalline Aegis. That was the first one that was released. It was around season 5, I think, something like that. And then the next one was called the Spectral Ultima, which is this one here, which was released like the next season after. But both of them were pulled out of the game almost immediately after they were put in. So it was like maybe 48 hours at most. So those two were actually in game for a short period, but they're gone now. Well, they're still in the game files. They're just not actually in the game. So I wanted to show that to everybody really quick before we got started. So, as usual, we're going to start with bosses first. So this is a reused boss. We've seen that one before, at least a couple times, I think. So, hey, Chicken Face, welcome. So we've seen this one before. This is a reused boss, but that's not surprising. There's almost always one reused boss and one new. And then the next one is a new boss. That looks new to me. I don't recognize that look. So that looks new to me. That's it right there. So that is a new boss, and that's the reused boss. So we've seen this one before once or twice, and this one's new. So this one is Spirit Earth, and that one's Spirit Fire, based on the looks. So there's the bosses. So there we go. So image number 3 is boss 1, and image number, oops. Oh, there we go. I got the wrong one. Boss 2. Okay, there we go. So there's our bosses. Let me just copy those out. Copy those into my folder I already created for this next month. 3 raids in July. That is a good point. Let me look at the calendar here. So we've got War this weekend. Then we got 3rd. Yeah. 3rd, 17th, and 31st. I don't know. There should be. Yeah, there should be 3 raids in July. But they may update this later. This is just what's here now. I just got these files literally in the last few hours. So this is brand new. So it's entirely possible they may update the files and add another boss, but as of right now there's only 2, so not sure. Okay, so moving on. Here's our first armor, and my scrolling is not working again. I hate when it does this. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna disconnect my wireless mouse and keyboard. What servers am I talking about? I'm not sure I understand the question. This is for all servers, so Android, iOS, EU, global, all of them. How do I get the files? Well, the files are actually on a server that is publicly hosted. Otherwise, your game couldn't download the updates. So, and my mouse is being stupid again. So they're actually a publicly available server where you can get them from. Is it actually going to register this time? Or am I going to have to do something else here? There we go. It's still not scrolling. I can't zoom in for some reason. It did this to me last stream too. Don't know why. So this is the first armor. This one is Earth and Fire. Or, excuse me. Spirit and Earth. So you can see the Earth blocks everywhere. So this one's Spirit and Earth. And I have to manually zoom in and out on it, which is dumb. It doesn't do this to me all the time. Like I can scroll up and down in here just fine. But when I go to here to zoom in, it won't zoom. It sometimes works. Anyway. So that one, so anyway, the files are on a publicly available server. So each time you get that 13, 15 megabyte update in a given month, this past one was like 16, just because there were so many more armors. But this one is around 14, 15. So when you get the update files, I'm getting the same files you do. I'm just getting them early. So, anywho, so that's that. So this first armor is Spirit and Earth. So this is armor 1, Spirit Earth. That is male, I believe. There's one of our raid armors. I can tell by that little club guy right there. So that's raid armor number 1. That goes with the Spirit Earth boss. So this one is also, I believe, male. Looks like it. And there's that one again. We literally just have this in this current month right now, in June. This is the exact same armor. They haven't changed anything. It's the exact same armor. But now, it's Fire Spirit, or Spirit Fire, excuse me. So this one is, in the current month, it's Fire Air. And this is now Spirit Fire. It's the same exact armor. Originally the Spectral Fin Scutarius, then it got made into Matt's Soul, and then it was the Cursed Blast, which was the original name of Matt's Soul, by the way. And now it's this, and now it's Fire Air for the current month, and it's here again for Spirit Fire. I may bring that up, actually. This may be, I may have gotten this prematurely. It may be not quite finished yet. So this may get changed. So just be aware. There's Spirit and Water. That's kind of a cool looking armor too. I have glanced at this briefly just to look over what was here. But this is Spirit Water, so this is armor 4, Spirit Water. That is, I'm pretty sure that's also male, but I could be wrong. There is the female of the Spirit and Earth raid armor. That's the female of that Spirit Fire, which is now the 4th, or is it 5th iteration of that armor. And there is our Spirit exclusive elite, whatever term you prefer, right there. So that's the armor. So that is dual Spirit right there. There's the weapon you can see, and the shield, the head, all that good stuff. It looks actually very similar to some of the armors we've just had. I think it was a fire air, whatever, recently. Can't even think of the name, but it looks very similar as far as the head design is concerned. I don't know. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense, Dursey. It wouldn't be Earthfire. You know, Spirit Fire, yeah, but not Earthfire. Okay, so that's our dual Spirit. That's image number 6. 5 Spirit. That is, I'm pretty sure, the male as well. So there's our dual Spirit. There's another new one. That one, again, kind of has similarities to some of the other armors, but a very different color scheme. That's Spirit Fire also. So that's armor 6, Spirit Fire. And there is, I think that's male. Looks like it. Could be female. I could be wrong. No, I was right. That is the male. This is the very next one's the female. So that makes it easy. Okay, there's the first one we ran across. I think I may have named this one wrong. Let me look here. It appears I did. This one is actually the female. It's hard to tell sometimes with these chest plates, but this one is just a slightly narrower waist than this one does. This one has kind of a more broad waist, which is a good indication of a female versus a male. Yeah, they have a lot of similar designs this month. I mean, this one's very unique in itself, but some of the other ones are similar. I agree. So I think this one's actually the female. Hard to say. It's really not very clear. I don't know. That's a really tough one. It's hard to tell on this one. Let me look at the legs. Sometimes that's a dead giveaway. There's actually, the legs are farther spread apart on the male. But that isn't obvious either. Let me look at the arms then. Let's go into here. Let's move this up a bit so I can see it a bit better. We'll zoom in on that arm right there. And then we'll zoom in on that arm. Come on, zoom, you goofy thing. There we go. On that arm right there. They look nearly identical. Sometimes you can tell because they're actually a slightly shorter arm on the female version, but that's not helping either. Okay, never mind. I'm just going to say, for the sake of argument for right now, that this one is the female because it looks like it probably is, because the chest plate is slightly narrower. Okay, scratch that. Never mind. I'm going to go with what I said. This one is still the male. I'm going to rename this one as the female. There we go. Okay, this is a spirit and air, so this is an entirely new armor also, and this one has a very unique look to it. When I looked over the armors earlier, I just notated quickly what the armors were as far as the elements. So we have 2 spirit air, 2 spirit earth, 2 spirit fire, 2 spirit water, the dual spirit, and a surprise coming up soon. I'm not going to say much other than just it's a surprise, and you'll have to wait. It's pretty cool, actually, though. So this one is spirit air. I believe that is the female. So that is armor 7, spirit air, female. Oh, hey, Chameleon. Welcome. There is the spirit water we just saw, but that is the female version of the same armor. And there's that one, the spirit fire up here at the top. That is the male. That's a step down from Ascension. And there's the fire, spirit fire, the other one. That is, I believe, the male, but one step down, again from Ascension. There's a step down from Ascension, male of the raid armor, which is this one. Not as many armors this month, so it won't be as hard to go through. Last month was a bit of a nightmare because there was 15 armors. It took forever. Okay, dual spirit, that is the female. No, it doesn't look really all that similar. It's similar, yes, in some ways because it's still very purple. But the weapon is very different, the shield's very different. Just the head itself has a lot of similarities to some of the other armors we've seen recently. You might be able to go down to the bottom of the Twitch window. There should be a gear icon, I think. And you can change the resolution, I think, to something lower than what it does by default. I think it's 720, I think, is the default that I stream with. But you might be able to turn it down to like 360 or 480 and it might work better. That worked really well for some people a couple of streams ago. So this is the dual spirit. That's the female version. There's the female version of the spirit fire down here at the bottom. That's the female one. There's the spirit fire up here at the top. Female as well. Welcome, chat. I see you're following now. Probably a delay because Twitch is always a bit behind when it comes to notifications. That, I think, is this same armor here. I don't want it full screen. Yeah, it's the same one. It's just a step down from Ascension. Okay. I just wanted to be sure. So that is this one here, but it's a step down. Yeah, no problem. That is the male. Yeah, so the same armor, but just a step down from Ascension. So I'll eventually come across the male version that's ascended. And you're welcome. There is the Spirit Fire. Let's see here. That's the male. I think that's this one. But it's the base of that one. If memory serves me right. Let me just double check. Yes, same one. Okay, cool. There's 2 of them, so I'm just making sure I'm not messing myself up. So this is the dual spirit. This is a step down from Ascension on the male. Doesn't look really all that different from the Ascended version. There is the other Spirit Air. So that's armor number 8. And that is the male. And there is the other Spirit Water. So this one, of course, because it's a spirit water, has a lot of the same kind of color scheme. Whoops, I went way too far. As the gatekeeper armor we just had, the mysterious gatekeeper during water month. But because it's spirit water, it kind of has more of a purpley, color with kind of watery color sort of accents instead. So has a lot of similarities though, except for the weapon is very different and the helmet, of course, is very different. Yeah, this one's cool. I like the spirit waters. I like a lot of the looks of them, but spirit waters and spirit airs are some of my favorites. The off elements, for some reason, I like the looks of better. Armor 9, spirit water. And I'm pretty sure that's male. And there's that spirit air I was talking about that I missed. This one right here. Yeah, that one right there, but it's the ascended version. There we go. There is the same spirit air I just looked at, but that is the female version. And there's the female version of the spirit water. Oh, I did the wrong one. Hang on, let me undo that. I did the wrong one. There we go. Spirit air. That's the one I wanted. I did the wrong one. Renamed the wrong file, but I'm glad I caught it. How many reskins? So far, 1, I think. Okay, there's the spirit water. That's what I was actually looking for, and I was getting ahead of myself and I renamed the wrong one. Okay, there's the spirit water, but that's the male. 1 step down from Ascension. So let me just double check really quick while we're on that topic. So this one is new. This one is new. This one's a reskin. That's the only one I've seen so far. That's new. That's new. That's new. They have some similarities to previous armors, but they are new armors entirely. Like the heads, for example, on this one here is kind of similar to the Airfire we had recently, as is this dual spirit heads, kind of similar as well, but that's really the only thing that I can see. They're all relatively new otherwise. More or less new designs, I should say. Okay, so there's the base of the male of the raid armor. Oops. That helps if I can type. And there's the dual spirit. That's the female, I believe. Yep, female version of that one. That's a step down. And here is what the surprise I was waiting to mention to you guys. So this is a star metal armor. This is the next ultimate, I'm guessing. It does have a lot of similarities to the Decatron as far as the kind of the looks of the armors in look of the armor in a lot of ways. The shield's very different, the weapon's very different, but it is definitely, as you can see here, a star metal. So this is the ultimate armor, I'm assuming, for the next cycle in October or whatever it is. So give everyone a minute to look at that. And of course I'll be assembling them all later, but I just wanted to give everybody a quick kind of look at this. One thing I did notice also, this is something I noticed before, that little icon right there, that kind of diamond-shaped not diamond-shaped, that little icon anyway, is Earth. That's an Earth icon. I don't know why it's here. That icon right there is a fire icon. I'm assuming because this is all elements. That's why. But strangely, actually no, there's the spirit right there. So yeah, it actually does have all the different, it has all the different elements on it. And that's kind of an air sort of swirl. So that's spirit, fire, earth, air. I just don't see water. That's kind of water-esque right there. But that is the star metal armor, the ultimate armor, I'm assuming, for the coming months. Did you have a leak for the last ultimate armor before they unveiled it? Can't remember. Oh yeah, the ultimate armor was actually an Earth month, like 3 or 4 months before they announced it. November, yeah, that sounds right. So they announced it in like, what, January or something? And it was actually in the Earth files 2 months, 3 months, whatever before. So this is the ultimate armor for October. So this is armor 10, star metal, and that's the male. Yeah, not a big deal. Not everyone noticed it. Because I did put it on the sheet. It was there, but I don't know what happened, why you missed it. I don't know. Can't explain that one for you. So this is the female base of that one. And that's the base, I believe, female of the raid armor. Yeah, that's the raid armor's base version, but female instead of male. There's the base of the dual spirit. That is the male. There's the female of the star metal. There's the very top one. This is finally, we're now getting back to the very first one. This is the, I'm going to say this is male. It looks male. I'm going to assume it is. So this is the step down from Ascension on the male. There's the Spirit Fire up here at the top. I think it's this one. Yeah. Just making sure. So that is the female base of that one. I'm pretty sure. Looks like it. There's the Spirit Water. I think it was this one. Yeah. Again, just making sure I'm not messing myself up. Okay, so that is the male, but that's a step down. That's the Spirit Air, which is, I think, this one. Yeah, that's the right one. Had to make sure. So that is the step down from Ascension on that one, I believe. Whoops. Evo 1. There we go. Oh, wait, hang on. Are these out of order? They are out of order. That's actually the base. Haha, good thing I looked. This is actually the base of the male. So I'm missing the Evolution 1, because that's the female of the same one. That one right there. That's one step down on that one. There's the base of the male of the Spirit Fire up here at the top. There's the Spirit Water down here toward the bottom. I think it's that one. Yep. Just making sure again. And there's the Star Metal again, but this is a step down from Ascension, so this is the, looks like the male. So that's the unascended version. That's the very one, the very, very first one. That is the female. That's definitely a female. You can see the narrower waist. So that's definitely the female, but one step down. Then we have the base of the first Spirit Air. I think it was this one. Yep, that's that one. So that is the base of the female. We're almost there. Almost through them. There's the Spirit Water. I think it was this one here. Yep. Same one, just the female version. And there's the Dual Spirit. That is the female base. That's the one I just looked at, but that is the male base. Let me find the female base really quick while we're on that topic, just so I can finish that one up. Hang on, let me go back. Lost myself here. Spirit Water male. Right there. So number 59. Just to quickly get that one out of the way so I'm not making the same mistake again. That's the female base. Okay. Let me jump back to the... Excuse me, let me jump back to here. I don't know. That's a very good question. They might make more Shatter Pets, or they may just make the existing ones more available. I don't know. Unfortunately, all I get at this point in time are images, just pictures. I don't even get names or stats or anything. This is just the pictures. Lit. Welcome. Okay, so that's the Spirit Air. I think that was the second one. Yeah, that's that one. But that's the one I was missing. That's the male Evolution 1. So the first evolution before Ascension. There's the female, one step down. There's the base of the Spirit Water here at the bottom, but the female version, I think. Is that right? Hang on. That's the female base. I was right. So I'm missing one on that one too. I only have the Evolution 1 and base. Let me jump here. Grab the other one. There it is. I think. Wait a minute. I may have made a mistake. Hang on. Let me look here. That's Spirit and Water. So this one here, that's the male Evolution 1. That one has the horns coming off the head. That one doesn't. And that one's... Oh, there's my problem. I renamed the wrong one. So that male base is actually female Evolution 1. Renamed the wrong one. Okay. Go back to here. This one. Let me jump back to, I think it was right there. That is the female base of this one here. So I renamed the wrong one. That's actually the female. Okay. Or excuse me, that's the male. And this one here, which is 57. I'm just going to quickly get these out of the way while I'm on that topic. Okay. All right. So now back to where we were. So this is spirit air. That was the first spirit air, I believe. That should be the female base. Or wait, hang on. Nope, that's a different one. Different one. It's this one here. Yeah, this one right here. The first spirit air. But this is the male instead of the female. Ta-da, that's done. Okay, now we have the second spirit air. Okay, cool. Thanks for joining in. Sorry, brain cramp. This is the female, I think. Yeah, same one. Female of that one, but the base instead of the other ones. There we go, that's done. And now we have the female base of the star metal. The dateline tomorrow. Oh, it'll be up on KnD bot pretty much as soon as I get done. Okay, now we got to go back to here to the very top one. This is the male, I believe, the base of that one, the very first one. All the way here at the very tail end, we're finally getting back to that one. And there's the female base. Okay, is that it? Yep, that's it. Okay. Let me get up here to the top. We're going to make a folder for pets and a folder for cape, because I know I'll be coming across that shortly. So pet, so we've got 60 to 63. Okay, let me get those out of the way really quick, because next up is the cape. And that is the cape, so everyone can kind of see that up close. Hey, welcome, Doc. So that's our cape for Spirit Month. Kind of reminiscent of the older capes. It's not quite so like huge. Just kind of a nice, simple design. I like it. That's the cape for this coming month. That's kind of cool. So let me grab that really quick. So that's 64. Put that in its own folder. Get that out of the way for a minute. So this is the head for, I believe, the raid armor. Yeah, that one right there. So that is the head for that one. There's the head. And next we have another pet. So let's see, 66. Okay, 66, 73, 74, 73 to 76. Okay. Let's get those out of the way again just to save myself the trouble. Okay. Let's go back to that one. So that's our fire spirit. That's the one that, or spirit fire, excuse me. That's this one. Nope, wrong one. Sorry. That's this one right here. Yep. There's two of each, so it's confusing. Party! Party time. So 67 head. There we go. That's the spirit water up toward the top, if memory serves. Yep, that's the right one. And that's 68. And that's the star metal. That's the star metal head. So everyone can kind of see that. Doc, you missed it. I showed the star metal armor, the ultimate armor, I'm guessing for October when that one comes around. That's the head for it. Has a very kind of robot look to it. So we'll get back to that, but that's the head for it. And there is the, what did I decide, the 5th iteration of this armor now? It's this one right here, I believe. Yeah. So this one is now on our 5th, well, technically 4th, because Matt's Soul and the Cursed Blast were the same armor. They just had a different name. Welcome, Volt. I probably got that wrong, but I'm trying. I just renamed that one, I thought. Yeah, I did. I just renamed it without anything added to it. Armor 3, where is it at? Right there. And I just got another notification, but it disappeared too quickly. It's showing up on your screen, but I have it hidden behind the chat window. Maybe I'll move that over so I can see better. Okay, and that's our very first one. That's our very first Spirit in Earth right there. So number 71 is the head for that one. I'm losing my... There we go. Yeah, it's got a lot of kind of look and feel similarities with the Deca. What was it called? The what? I'm totally drawing a blank. The air water armor. I can't think of the name now. I'm totally drawing a blank. I just mentioned it. Oh, okay, cool. Just one what? Yeah, only one. Sorry, I missed that in the chat. Yeah, only one reskin, which is kind of a nice change. Okay, so it's this one here. Decatron, there you go. I couldn't think of the name. For some reason, my brain just went totally blank. Yeah, Decatron, there you go. So this is the dual spirit head, and it does have a lot of similarities to the, I think it was Air Fire we had just a few months ago. It has a lot of similarities to that one, at least as far as the kind of look of it, but it has some definitely more, obviously, spirit colors to it. But it's definitely similar to the Fire Air. So that's our dual spirits head. And there's our spirit water. I believe it was this one right here. Yes, sir. So that one's spirit water. And there's the spirit air, the second spirit air. I believe it was this one. Yep, that's it. Easy to spot that one because it has a very different look than the other spirit air. So there's actually 2 of each element combination except, of course, the dual. Let me grab this one really quick. I'm going to move 80. Because that's the tier 1 of the pet, which looks an awful lot like a dog. Really quickly, let me get those out of the way, actually, before I move on. So 60 was effects, and then that one, 73, is tier 5. You can tell that already by the look of it. And that 76 is tier 4. And then, yeah, 74 is tier 3. 75 is tier 2. And 80 is tier 1. So that's done. Get that out of my way right now. Okay, moving back to here. So there's the cape. Again, just another shot of it. And again, as usual, there's 2 of them. So that picture, that picture. You can't see it really on the thing unless you look right there. It says 82 right now. Now it says 81. Now it says 82. They are, in fact, 2 images that are identical. Happens every month. No idea why. Just one of those things. Okay, so this one here is the cape. Let's rename that one really quick while I'm there. Okay, so that one is the Spirit Fire right here. Yeah. So this one is the exact same ring and amulet set, just recolored. This is the only reskin in the files. And I believe the next one, yeah, the next one is the ring for it. That makes it easy. That one looks like the star metal. Yeah, it is. Like I said, it kind of has some similarities. I'll zoom in so everyone can look at it again. It has some definite similarities to the Decatron, but at the same time looks different in a lot of ways. But it seems like the design was based on this armor. Or was based on the Decatron, rather. So if you zoom in, you look right there on the shoulder, and then you look right there. That's where that comes from. So that's the ring for the star metal. Okay, next up we have, I'm going to guess, zoom in a bit more, there we go. That looks like, no, sorry, wrong one. Actually meant to go to the other spirit water. I think it might go with this one? No, definitely not. Wrong colors entirely. Let me look at the Spirit Fire then. It looks kind of like that one. This is where things can be a little bit tricky. Let me look. It does look similar, but this has more flame effects to it, and this doesn't have a flame effect to it. So let me look at the other, was it Spirit Air? Yeah, maybe. Kind of. Kinda, sorta. I don't know, I might have to come back to that one. Because it's not this one. Let me look here. Let me look at the very first armor, just for fun. Ooh, hey, that actually might be it. Because this had the same kind of blades coming off of it. This has blades like that. Look at the shoulder. That's sometimes a dead giveaway. Yep, there it is right there. There's the little wings, everything. That's the ring that goes with this guy. Okay, cool. So that's the ring that goes with our very first armor. That's a Spirit Earth. Now we have another one. That one looks like Spirit Air, I think. Probably not that one, though. Could be Spirit Water also, though. I could be completely out in left field. Definitely not that one. That's all the wrong color scheme. Let's look here. Look at the other Spirit Air. Maybe. Possibly. Because it does have a similar kind of, that sort of kind of accent color, like right here. You can see it on the chest plate. And kind of on the arms a little bit, and the legs. But, I don't know. Let me look at the other ones. Just to be on the safe side. I'm pretty sure it's not this one. That's all the wrong colors. Let me look at this one. No, definitely not. Definitely not. It's not that Spirit Fire. It might be this one? No, I don't think so. Probably not anyway. I don't think so. No, definitely not that one. It's all the wrong colors. So let's go back to the bottom and start back up at the bottom here and go back up. That's definitely a no. Spirit Air. This one is most likely not it either. But let me look around at the armor. I don't think so. It doesn't quite look right to me. There's too much kind of that white sort of color, that off-white color there. This doesn't really have any of that. Let me see this one. This one kind of looks like it more like it would fit. Because it has that similar kind of V shape there that you can see. That kind of looks similar to me. And it does have kind of the similar sort of flares coming off of the weapon. I'm going to say it's this one, just for now. I can, of course, always change it later. But I'm going to say it goes with that one for now. Okay, now we have this one, I believe, is, yeah, that's this very bottom one, that Spirit Water. Definitely goes with this one. Looks very much like it. Yeah, it actually has the same kind of look as the head. Same kind of grill in the front of the head, and it has the horns coming off the top. So, that's an easy one. Looks just like that one. And sometimes they are just like that. They're very easy to spot, very simple to reference. Oh, that goes with this. That, I think, is our dual spirit. Yep, looks like it. Yeah, it looks very, very similar to that one. Very, very similar. Has a very similar kind of flared look to the weapon and the head. So I'm pretty sure that goes with our dual spirit. So there's our dual spirit ring. Okay, cool. Sounds good. Thanks for joining in. I should be online for probably another hour-ish, maybe a bit more. Okay, next up we have this one here, which looks like that one, I think. Is that the right one? Or am I thinking of the wrong one? These two spirit airs are messing me up. That one looks... No, I think that's the wrong one. I don't think it goes with that one. I think it goes with the other one. But I already got one for that one. Let me look. Let me compare. No, I don't think so. Nope, doesn't look like that one enough. So let's try the Spirit Water up here instead. That looks more like it. Whoa, slow down there, Turbo. Don't need that much. Okay, so this one, it definitely has kind of more of the similar sort of feel to it, but this actually has those white flares I was just talking about on the other one. I didn't even look at this one. Okay, let's go back to that one. I think it was right there. Okay, let's move this over to the right. I'm going to compare this one against that other Spirit Air, or Spirit Water, excuse me. Spirit Water right here. Because this has the same kind of white flares coming off the back of the head here and off the shield. Like it has the same sort of thing. But I just don't see that particular color scheme really anywhere on the armor. So that's why I don't think it goes with this one. No, I don't think so. I think I've got that one right. I'm going to go with this one going with that Spirit Water. Because it does look similar enough to my eyes to look like it belongs. Because if you look right here, for example, it has a very similar kind of color scheme to that. I just don't see that particular design, that kind of ball in the middle there, or that little glowing orb thing. whatever you want to call it. It does kind of have a similarity to the elbow there a little bit. And it does have the horns and a similar, again, kind of all-around color scheme. So I think that's probably it. So I'm going to say that's where it goes, for lack of anything different indicating otherwise. All right, now we have amulets. This one probably goes with the same armor I was just looking at. I'm just going to say it does. So we'll look at this. It does have the same kind of look and feel. So I'm going to say it does. Okay, there we go. Moving on. This one is a fire ring. So that's going to go with our spirit fire, probably this one right here, or amulet, excuse me, not ring. This one, nope, maybe not. Maybe not. It does have a very fire look to it, though. That kind of throws you off. Maybe that one. I don't know. That's kind of iffy. This is one of the hardest parts about this, is getting the rings and amulets sorted out. Maybe not that one. I'm not sure. It's hard to tell. It kind of does have some similarities to this one, though. It doesn't look especially... I guess it kind of does have an air look to it, and it matches the weapon, sort of. Oh, Spirit Air, that's a good question. Or the Spirit Earth, that's a good question. It kind of does. But the amulet doesn't look distinctly Earth, which it usually will. Because in this case, since it's Spirit Month, all the rings look Spirit and all the amulets look the corresponding element. So it's possible, but it doesn't really look enough like this one, to my eyes, to match. It does have some similarities, though. So it's hard to say. I'm just looking for that particular kind of design on the armor somewhere, and I'm just not seeing it. Like the other one, for the ring, it looks just like the shoulder. Like it has the same sort of flared sort of curves to the top of the shoulder here, and even to the in front of the chest plate, the lower part of the chest plate. I'm not sure what that thing's called. So it kind of has a lot of similarities to the look and feel of the armor. This one doesn't really seem like it matches. This one, no, definitely not. That one's already done. That one's already done. Just for fun, let's look at the dual spirit. I'm pretty sure it doesn't fit with this one. No, it's definitely not that one. It doesn't have any of that color scheme in it. Maybe this one. I don't think so. Usually they look like the armor in some respect, like the shield or the curvature of the shoulder plate, the pauldron, or the face or something. This just doesn't look anything like this. So I don't think it's that one. Let's go back to this first Spirit Air. It might be this one. I don't know. It doesn't really look like it. I think it's the second Spirit Air. I think it's this one. Because it has a similar sort of like that kind of golden accent in the middle there. It just doesn't look distinctly, like that. But it does have these sort of flares, which look similar to the weapon. That's just a guess at this point. I'm not really sure. This one doesn't really look a lot like any of them. I may have to leave this one alone and come back to it. Let me look at this one again. No, it's all wrong. It doesn't look like that one either. Okay, we'll come back to that one. We'll move on. Okay, this one, that's the Spirit Fire I've been looking at, trying to figure out. That's an easy one. Looks just like the head, like right there at the front of the head with the flare coming off the back. Looks just like that one. That one's easy. That gets that out of the way. So that's 93. Yeah. Make sure I'm not renaming the wrong one. The last one, the middle of it looks like the armor. This one right here. Huh, I don't see it. Unless you're talking about a different armor. There's a delay, sorry. So when you mention something, I may not always be looking at what you're talking about. That's the raid armor. That's this one right here. It looks just like the shield. Like there, right there. So that's definitely an easy one. That's an easy one to spot. So that's 94. Let me get these other ones out of the way and I'll come back to it. Because some of these should be a little easier. Just some of them don't look a lot like they belong. Dual Spirit maybe on that one? Possibly? Some of these look so similar, it's hard to tell. That one... not quite. I don't think. No, I don't think so. That looks more watery to me. So let me look at the spirit water down here. I think it's this one. No, sorry. Hang on. Well, it's water, so it might have a similar look to it. No. Maybe not. Okay. This is a tough one. I think I already got this one. Let me zoom in on that one again. I don't know. Those look quite a bit alike. I'm not sure. That might actually go with the exclusive now that I look at it. Let me move this over here. I've got these all over the place. Let me zoom in on that. Because the shoulder is one of the things I tend to look at, as well as the waist, like around here, and then sometimes the front of the chest plate. Sometimes it's the helmet. Sometimes it's the. It really kind of depends. Some months are much harder than others, and this is looking like one of those months. I'm just not going to have a lot of luck this month for some reason. We'll move on. We'll skip that one. And that one is, I believe. Oh wait, hang on. That one's the Loki Bandit. Welcome. That one was. Crap, was it this one? No. Had the fire. Oh, that's the very top one. That's this one. There you go. Looks just like that. And again, if you look at the shoulder, the pauldron, right there, it has a very similar sort of curvature here, and then it comes to a point, and then a curvature on the other side. That's that one. That's easy enough. Okay, so that's 96? Yeah. So that's the amulet for that one. That's done. Cool. Let's zoom in on this one. That one is the spirit water at the bottom. Definitely, definitely. Because it looks just like that armor. It actually looks just like the shield, in fact. That's the, not the shield, sorry, the, where was it now? Weapon? Yeah, the weapon right there at the center of the weapon. That's an easy one. So that's spirit water. That's the amulet for that one. So that's number 97. Yeah. Okay. And now we have a ring. I think that is our duel's ring. Or no, hang on. Ah, shit. Now I'm really confused. I think it might be this one. No, it's not that one. I don't think. This is what's going to throw me off, because some of these they have such similar looks to them, but not quite similar enough to the armors that I'm kind of at times guessing, because I'm not really sure. Yeah, sorry. Like I said, when you're mentioning things in the chat, there's a delay. So I'll see it show up sometimes several seconds after I've already moved off of what I was looking at. So it's not always kind of current. So there's a delay whenever you're talking in the chat, and I look at it and go, huh? So this one here, no. Do I not have the ring for that one? I don't have the ring for that one yet. Ah, there's one of our rings that we're missing. I've just got to figure out which one goes with it. So I'm pretty sure it's not that one. Let me go back to the beginning here. Let me close this and go back to the start. Go back up to here. So this one, I need to figure out where the ring goes. Or which one goes with that raid armor, rather. There we go. I had to move the right window. Okay, so we don't need... That's not the amulet for this one, because we already have that one. We don't need that one. There's a ring. That might be it. Let me look. Zoom in. Thank you. Looks just like the waist. Right there. Ta-da. That's it. Okay, that one's easy. So that one's done. So that one is 101. That one goes with this one here. Why do I still use Windows 7, not 10? I never updated. Never bothered. It works just fine for my uses. I don't need to update. I don't play games on it or really much of anything else on it, so I figured what's the point in updating. That's our dual spirit, I think, right there. It has a very similar kind of swirling pattern right there at the top of the weapon, so that's that one. So that's the amulet for the dual spirit. So that one's out of the way. That's number 102? Yeah. Okay. Crafting material, crafting material. Okay, cool. So now we have, let's go back up to the top here. So we have our our spirit earth. That's the very first one. That's the, that one right there. That one's done. Then we have the Spirit Earth, which is our raid armor. That one's done. The Spirit Fire, which is the only reskin in the files. That one's done. Spirit Water, I'm pretty sure is good. Dual Spirit is good. We still need the amulet for the Spirit and Fire. So let me open that one up. And we're going to look through our amulets here. And compare. Because I know we have at least a couple in here. That's it, probably it right there, and I skipped right past it. That looks like it to me. Has a definite fire feel to it. And it has the same kind of, you know, reddish and orangish sort of color scheme. I'm just trying to figure out where it comes from on the armor, just for verification. Kind of looks like that at the bottom of the front plate. And kind of looks a bit like the weapon, too. So, that's it. I'm going to say that's it, because it looks enough like it, obviously. It's very fire looking. So, that one is our Spirit and Fire, which is this one right here, I believe. Yeah. So that's 99. That is going to be our Spirit and Fire amulet. Okay. Now this one, I haven't gotten to yet. That's the Star Medal at the very bottom. That's the amulet for that one, so that's easy. 100. Looks just like it. Cool. All right. So back up to the top here. Let's go back to the top. We're missing the... Got the Spirit Fire. That one's done. Spirit Air here does not have an amulet. Okay. I'm thinking that one right here. This just... It didn't look quite right to me. But I think it goes with this one. It just doesn't really look like any other part of the armor. It looks very similar to the shield. That curvature is very similar. It's actually almost identical. I should have seen that. But just this other kind of glowing part in the middle of it just didn't look right to me. And it does have kind of an air look to the side, little blades. So this one is Armor 7, Spirit Air Amulet. There we go. And we can now go back to... This Spirit Water's done. This Spirit Air is not. So that's one of the other ones we're missing. And we're almost ready to start assembling armors. Okay. So now I need an amulet for this puppy here. It does look quite a bit like this one. Just, again, not quite right. Just some of the ones are just odd. Chest has a cross design. Sorry. Again, there's a delay. I'm not seeing it right off the bat. I have two more to assign, and this is one of the ones I'm stuck on. It looks like this one in a lot of ways, but at the same time kind of doesn't. Because it's an air ring, because it's a Spirit Air armor, and this doesn't look distinctly air. Which is not necessarily an indication of anything, because the dual air we had just recently didn't look distinctly air either. So that's not really necessarily a guarantee of anything. I'm just trying to find that design somewhere on the armor. And I'm just not seeing it. So let me move to the next one. That's a ring, which I don't think I need for this armor, do I? Which one is this? Armor 8. No, this is the one I need a ring for. So this is... There's really only 2 left. Am I really just not paying attention? Yes, I'm really just not paying attention. There's a ring and an amulet left, and this is the only armor that doesn't have one. Duh. Derp. Okay, so this one... Let me look at it, just to verify. Because it doesn't really look quite like it fits. But I think I may have made a mistake somewhere else. And I do that on occasion. I sometimes get it wrong. I think actually last month, for the dual armors that are for the event coming up here in the next couple of weeks, I made a mistake on a couple of them. I think I got the air and the non-golden regular version dual fire. I think I got them reversed or something else, but... Yeah, the chest design? Yeah, it kind of does, actually. I didn't see that. Flipped. Yeah. Like I said, this is the only one that's really left, so I'm just going to say it goes with this. Because there's not really any other options left. So this is the amulet, and this is the ring. Ta-da! Okay, let me fix that amulet. I typed a capital M. Okay, here we go. Now we can move on. So this is SF48 Material 1. I don't know what it's called, or whether it's exclusive or regular. But there's the materials. So we're going to take this And head, amulet ring, head, amulet ring, head. Just going to move these all to the other folder where I have everything already kind of placed. Copy. Paste. Ta-da! There's that. Now I can go back to here and start assembling some armors. So we're going to start with, actually this month I'm going to do female again. Trying to mix it up a little bit here and there and do things a little bit differently each month, so I'm not doing everything exactly the same every single time. This time I'm going to do all female instead of male. I did male the last 2 times and a female before that, and again I'm just kind of changing it up, seeing what people think. Okay, so armor number 1 first. 5, 2, 3, 4. Okay, putting them back in their original order. All right, here we go. So this one I like the design of quite a lot, just because I like those kind of flary sort of blade things that come off of it. Like the top of this head has that flare, like a blade with like a flare of flame coming off of it. And same thing with like the shoulders and the shield and the weapon. Just kind of cool looking. I like it. I like Spirit Earth though in general, so no big surprise. And I believe this one, I believe, is going to be our fusion armor. I'll have more predictions, of course, later, but I think this is likely going to be fusion. Just because it's... they've cut off the effects there. That's funky. They'll probably release an update because whenever they have effects like that that get cut off, or that have a little bit of kind of a bleeding edge, like it bleeds into something else next to it, like these two are kind of cut off. Whenever that happens, they usually release an updated pack of data. And this one, again, only has 10 armors in it. And I believe there should be 3. So I think there's an armor missing. Unless I hear different from Deca when I talk to him. But I believe there's an armor missing. I missed that. I chopped off the corner. Not that it matters because it's all chopped off anyway. And this is going to get covered mostly by the shield. But that's okay. I want to make sure I get all of it. And there is that armor without anything added to it, so you can kind of see what it looks like before the shield covers it up. And now we have the shield, which is right here, and it's massive as usual with Spirit Earth armors. They seem to always have humongous shields, generally. Yeah, I like the blade designs on it too. That's what I was talking about. These kind of flary, like the flaming, blades coming off the shoulder and stuff. I just kind of like the look of that. Like I said, it covers up almost the entire thing, so you can't really tell. Can't really tell it's even there. And then this weapon has this massive curving blade on it too that flares up as well. So it's a very uniform design. It looks all the same, like it very clearly fits with this armor. Okay, this is going to be a fun one to blend in. Where are you at? I can't see. Right about there. There we go. And of course I have to erase some of this to kind of blend in the wrist a little bit better than it would have been. Now I got to find the rest of the handle, the hilt, whatever. Okay, where is it? Oh, it's right there. I'm blind. Kind of just chopped off the little bottom end of it, which is pretty common. And I just insert this right about here. And there's that one. Okay. And we're at 285. That's pretty wide. Not a whole lot of armors are that wide anymore. Much wider than it is tall, which isn't abnormal, but having them be this wide is not common. Okay, now I gotta save it into my new folder. That's here? Yeah, okay. This is armor 1. Oh, sorry, this is female, I forget. Okay, moving on. Here's our raid armor. And I think the reskin is going to be the other raid armor. I'm pretty sure. Kind of have to look at it in more detail and compare it to the boss, but... This one is definitely one of the raid armors, though. I'm just not positive on the other one. It is Spirit Fire, it's just not... I'm not sure which one of the two. It's a reused boss, so it may be a reused armor, too. But that armor wasn't originally a raid armor. It was... Well, the original design of that armor, I should say, was not raid. It was war. And then it got redesigned as a raid armor, which was Matt's Soul. And then re-released later as an Epic Boss Reloaded armor, which was the Cursed Blast, which was the original name of the armor before it got renamed to be Matt's Soul. And now we have a new version of it that's in this month that we're in right now, in June, which is going to be one of the two war armors, which I believe this one is Fire Air, I think. And it's coming up in this month here in July again with this going to be Spirit Fire. I may mention that to Deca and ask him if that's intended or if they plan on changing it, because if they do, then of course I'll have to update this. And that's the raid armor, so you can kind of see that one without anything added to it. That's a pretty cool looking armor. I like that one a lot too. Now we get the shield. That's what I was just mentioning. Right now there are only 2. So I may have to ask them about that, about whether or not there's a plan for a third, because the third raid happens on the 31st of July, so they may roll it into the next month, but I'm not positive. So I'll have to ask him. And if there's going to be more data coming, then I'll ask him, and I'll have to update the sheet, obviously, because this won't have everything on it. If there's another armor missing, obviously I've got to update it to put the other armor that's missing. But if there isn't an armor missing, then we'll be getting it as part of August's, I would assume. I got to blend in this weapon edge. It's going to be obvious if I don't. Some of those weapon edges have to be blended in as well. If I don't blend it in, it'll stick out like a sore thumb. Oops, gotta go down a little farther. There we go. Yeah, it would for sure. I don't do top runs, so I don't care, but it would make it much easier if there's 3 raids. As far as collecting the exclusive materials, I mean. Would definitely make it a lot easier. See here, 275-ish. Is that too wide? No, it's about perfect. Okay, good. That's also kind of wide, but it's about the normal range. Usually 255 to 275 is about normal. Okay. And now we're going to go to this guy, which is again technically the 4th version of this armor, but the 5th that's actually been in game. I mentioned it earlier for anyone who wasn't on at the time, but this is the 5th version, or the 5th time this armor's been used in game, even though it's really only the 4th design. Okay, where are you at? There's the arm. I forgot that these shoulder plates were this massive on this armor. I ran into the same thing when I did it last month too. They're just huge. Massive, massive shoulder plates on this thing. So there's that one. And again, this is the female version, so they're a bit shorter. Then we have the shield, which is right here, and it's humongous. Covers up like the entire side, really. Like about like that. Like you can't see anything. It's completely gone, hidden behind the shield. And then we have this kind of short, stubby-ish weapon, with that massive shield. I mean, it's still a big weapon. It's just not big by comparison to the shield. At least to me, anyway. Okay, we got that right about there. Let me move. That's fine right there. I'm trying to get it eyeballed in here. Make sure it kind of lines up, and it looks like it does right there. And this is, of course, going to have to be cut off too, because it won't blend in very well if I don't. Even though the end of the hilt is really, really tiny. It's right there. Itty bitty little thing. But if I don't trim that up a little bit, if I don't clean up that edge, it'll look funky when I put this right here. And I do clean it up, it merges in nicely. Okay. And if I remember right, this armor is relatively square, top to bottom. But I normally do the male version of these, so it's not always going to match up. So this one is 255. Well, it's not that far off. The male version would be a bit taller, of course, but that's that one. So that's 3. And here's our Spirit Water. And next up will be the exclusive. Kind of see what that looks like once it's assembled. That's a funky one. Not really sure where that head should go. Because it kind of needs to blend in. With this neckline right here, there needs to be like kind of the bottom of the chin, so I'm trying to figure out where that fits. Looks like it probably is right about... Let me move here, little by little. Probably right about there, but it just looks funky with that neck kind of being open. Doesn't look that bad, I guess. Just looks a little strange. It's not common for there to be that much of a gap in the neckline on a fully ascended armor. Except for the ones that have an open face, of course. Those are the exception. And this will go right about here. Then we have the arm, which is up here in the top corner. They put him up in that top corner a lot for some reason. Not quite sure why that is. It's always that forward-facing arm is always up there in that top corner. So there's that one, before I add anything to it, so you can kind of see it. And next we have our shield, which coincidentally is right here next to it, as is the weapon. So that makes it convenient, because then I can just drop it right here, put it right about there, and grab the weapon, and throw it up right there. This one I don't need to blend much. Nice, looks pretty nice actually, I don't have to do much to that at all. Just a little bit of blending right there on that wrist edge, and that weapon looks pretty good too. Okay, where's the rest of the handle? There it is. It's hiding from me. Okay, and this is going to go right about... I do have to blend that in a little bit. Not too much, though. Go back to here. Zoom in and just kind of touch that up just a little. Right there. That's not quite as obvious now. Sometimes it's harder to do when the weapon is not really jutting out away from the hand far enough. Like if it comes out to here, I can kind of trim it up a little bit. But when it's right up against the hand, it's not as easy to do. So, okay, so there's that one. Next up is our exclusive, and then we'll do the other 5, which of course includes the star medal, which is the upcoming ultimate armor, I'm assuming. Okay, so that's 275-ish. That works. That right about there. Okay, now we have the exclusive, which I'm sure a lot of people are probably waiting for. I mentioned earlier that there are sometimes a little bit of bleeding over edges. That right there, if you can see it, I'll show you when we move to its own sheet. That is a bleeding edge. That's what I was meaning as far as sometimes the graphical effects are a little kind of mucked up and they have to come in and fix them. That's right there what I was referring to. All you got to do is just do that a little bit and it blends it in. But they do have that sometimes, and when they have that, they'll release a second pack just to kind of clean up those edges. Because if you were to see that in game, it would be a pretty obvious thing to spot and go, oh, that doesn't look good. So they do that with a few of them in the past. I had one month where I had five different versions of the file that had essentially exactly the same content, other than just the missing kind of bleeding edges. I call them bleeding edges, blurred edges, whatever. But that's what that is. So I'm trying to get this face kind of lined up where it should be. That looks about right. And now we'll get the legs. And then this is going to go right about there. See how that looks? Maybe a little bit more forward. There we go. And the arm. There's a little bit of a bleeding edge on that arm too. Both on the hand down here and on that upper blade section at the top. So let's put this over here just for a quick second. I'm going to clean up those edges. There's a little bit right there and a little bit right there. Okay. Now I can put this back where it belongs. So this is going to be right about, let's see here, right about there. So that's what that looks like before you add anything to it. Oops, didn't mean to do that. There you go. Actually, let me move that. It doesn't look quite like it's supposed to. Maybe it is supposed to be like that. Maybe it is supposed to be right up against the edge of that chin plate. Just looking at it and kind of trying to gauge. Yeah, that looks better right there. Okay, so there's that one. Anyway, moving on. Shield, where are you at? There it is, right there next to it. I'm blind. Don't mind me. This one also has a little bit of a bleeding edge on the bottom edge of the shield. Just a little one. And it bugs me, so I clean it up. There's actually a little bit right there, too. And a little bit there, too. It's all over the place on that one. How about the top? No, it looks good. Okay. Alright, there's the shield, which is going to go right about there. And the weapon, kind of an axe-looking thing, has multiple blades kind of sticking out of the side of it. That is going to go right about here. That one's going to blend in pretty nicely. I don't have to do a whole lot to that one. Just a little bit right there. That one actually looks like it matches up nearly perfectly. That one, the edge is probably going to look a little funky because it just doesn't quite line up. This is probably going to be a little bit... Actually, no, it worked out perfectly. Never mind, ignore me. Let's see. Let me zoom out here. Get it about where I like it to be. Merge all my layers back to one. Put you up here. Kind of EQ in that outer edge there. We're at about 240. Man, that one's pretty darn close to being square. Kind of small by comparison to some of the other ones. Okay, now back to here. Let's move on to the other ones. Female, 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 and star metal, female. Edit. Okay, 8, 9, 7, 6. Okay, we're getting close to the end here. Very shortly we'll be putting the sheet together and everyone can kind of see what it looks like. You can also see a little bit of bleeding edge right there on that arm, but it's going to be covered, so I never concern myself with those. Because it isn't going to be seen anyway with the other arm in front of it. Okay, so this one, as I mentioned earlier, you can clearly tell this one has a much narrower waist, so that's clearly the female one. The other one has a more broad waist. So sometimes it's very easy to spot them, but the Spirit Earth, the non-raid Spirit Earth, wasn't as easy to tell because the waists were very, very similar. So arms and legs, everything else was very, very similar, so it's harder to see. This one has a little bit of a bleeding edge on the side of the leg, right there, but I'm not sure if I'm going to need to be concerned about that either because the shield might cover that up also. So let's put this right about there so I can get that to match up. Yeah, that looks right. And then the arm, it's right there. Big old massive thing. This one also has a bleeding edge up here and down there. Big old massive thing. It's actually got a little see-through spot right there. Kind of see through it a little bit. That's cool. Not a lot, but it's there. Okay. Zoom in, clean that up. Zoom in here, clean that up. Again, that's going to be covered by the shield, so it's not really necessary to do that per se. But I know it's there, and it would bug me. But the one behind the shoulder, it's not again, it's completely covered. The ones that are on the legs and the arms aren't always covered by things that go on top of them, like the shield might have openings. And so in those cases, it's a bit anal retentive, I realize, but I like to make it look a little clean if I can. Cleaner than it would normally be anyway. Okay. And the weapon. Very, very big flamey weapon. Very large. Looks like an axe in some ways, but it has like a distinctly, you know, like it has blades that you would never see utilized in real life. It's a cool look, but some of these are a little, you know, the designs are a little goofy to me. They look a little off. But whatever. It does the job. It doesn't really have to be like that good looking of an armor. If the stats are good, that's really all that matters. To a lot of people anyway. Okay, there's that one. Okay. So that's our second Spirit Fire. Done. My computer's lagging. Lag, lag, lag. There we go. I click the button and it takes like several seconds for it to close. When if I'm not streaming and I do this, it's second. There's not even a second to close all those up. But it's taking several to do it here. 255-ish. That's actually pretty close to square 2. But we'll do that one 255. Okay. 6 Spirit. 6. No, not 5. 6. Thank you. Fingers are not cooperating. Okay. Now we go on to our first Spirit Air. I like the look of this one too. Kind of cool. If you just joined in, yes, you did. But I'll come back to it here in just a minute after I finish assembling these other armors. I've only got 4 left. You literally just missed it. Like, this, just like 3 minutes ago. I just finished assembling it before I moved on to that one I just finished. There's that one. Kind of a humongous helmet, if you ask me. There's a bleeding edge on that side of that leg there, too. Right there. But that one might also be covered by the shield. I'm going to take a look at it and see where it falls. That's a little low. Let me clean that up. Don't know if the shield would cover that. Alright. And this one's definitely going to be re-released because the edge of that weapon is chopped off both on these sides. They're both chopped. This one, thankfully, is intact, but those are both chopped. So there will definitely be an updated file. Might not be for another week or 2, but there will definitely be another one. And of course, if there are missing armors, which I think there are, there will be an update to that. There will be an updated file anyway. Or at least, I should say a missing armor. Because there looks to be a missing raid armor. Okay. But I will get verification on that to be sure. If there is in fact one missing, or if the July 31st raid is going to go into August. I don't know. All I have at this point, like I said, is images. I have pictures. That's all I have to go on. Let's see. Where is it at? Right about there. Okay. And the weapon. This is a... I like these kind of weapons where they have kind of a more classic sword look to them. This one actually looks like a real sword. I mean, obviously it has some embellishments on it that you wouldn't normally see, but it still looks like a kind of normal looking sword in most respects. And I have to cut that right off there so I can blend that in. Okay. And there's the rest of it right there. Oops. Just chopped it off. This is going to go right about there. Actually looks better. Okay. Just making sure it lined up. This has a humongous weapon. One of the bigger ones I've seen in a while. Which is going to make the size of this armor much bigger than it would have been, only because of the weapon. Okay, so this is 280. Yeah, 280. One of the bigger ones in the files this month. Right about there. This is 7? Yeah. Okay. And we now have the other spirit heir. That has a lot of bleeding edges on the bottom end of that helmet. Definitely going to have to clean those up because that looks funky. Right there. A whole bunch of them right side by side. But they can usually blend in pretty well. Looks good otherwise. Okay. There's the chest. Right about there. Maybe just a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Just a little bit off. Not much. A little bit of a bleeding edge on the front end of that leg as well. Right there. And that one might be a problem. It might be covered by the shield, but I'm going to clean it up anyway just to be safe. There we go. And the arm's up in the top right corner again. Don't know why they do that so much. It's not everyone, not every one of them, but half the files maybe in a given month are like that. There's that one. That's pretty cool. I like it. We have the shield, which is this one here. Get if I can squeeze in between there. Bleeding edges on that one on the bottom right there. I'm going to zoom in and clean that up right now. Is there anything else? A little bit right there too. Looks pretty good otherwise. Okay. This is a humongous shield. Can be right about there. This armor looks more to me like it would be a spirit fire than it would be a spirit air, except for these kind of very clearly, you know, whiter effects to it. Whiter, not whiter. Very clearly white, indicating, you know, air, but it looks almost spirit and fire to me because it has more of that fiery sort of feel to it. But that's just me. I could be wrong. I mean, I have been before. So it's not that big of a stretch that I couldn't be again. There we go. Okay, so there's that one. That one also has a massive weapon. Whoops, too far in. Right about there. Okay. Okay, so that one widthwise, this is a big one too. Well, this is the widest one so far. 295. As you can see there, it's obviously much wider than it is tall. But that is the widest one so far. So this is 8. And we have our last spirit water. That one definitely has some bleeding edges on the helmet. Oh, not much, just assembling of armors. Welcome back. I'm just about ready to do the ultimate armor. Just got to do this one first. And I mentioned earlier, for those of you who might not have been on at the time, I'm not positive that I have the ring and amulet sets right. I could be wrong on a couple of them, but I'm going with what I have just for now. Because I'm not positive, because they have very similar looks. A lot of the armors, I should say, do. And so I'm never 100% sure on some of them. But some of them are obvious when you look at it and say, oh, that looks just like that part of the armor. Or looks just like the shield, or looks just like the helmet. Some of them are just that easy. Other ones, you kind of look at it and you're like, maybe, possibly not. You kind of have to scratch your head a bit because you're never quite sure. This one, the ring and amulet for this one were pretty obvious, but the ones for some of the other ones, like the spirit air ones, I really don't know for sure. This one has a very kind of classic knight look to it, like an actual knight could have worn this. I mean, it's obviously over embellished, but it looks kind of like knight armors. And I've mentioned that in previous live streams that I really dig the armors that have a classic knight look to them. Like an actual knight could have used this. I'm big into medieval stuff. I like medieval stuff and kind of that sort of fantasy, sort of medieval genre. Um, so I just like this armor, the look of this armor. It's cool. Where is it? There it is. Like, where's the weapon? Where did it go? It's hiding. Come back. Come back, I need stuff. Okay. There's that. I can go right about there. That one I don't even need to touch. Nice. Blends in nicely. Okay, where's the rest of the handle now? There it is. Hiding at the bottom. Alrighty. And that can go right about... I might have to blend that in a little bit. Let me jump to here. Zoom in and go click, click. Good enough. There we go. Zoom out just a bit more. Right to about there. That's a really small shield. It's a small shield, I think, this month. Not very big at all. Okay, right about there. What are we at width-wise? 230. Yeah, it's actually taller than it is wide. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to do 235. There we go. So it's actually taller than it is wide, which is really pretty abnormal. Put that right about there. Armor 9. Cool. Star metal time. Here we go. So this is the... I'm assuming, I have no verification yet, of course, because I only got these files a few hours ago. I'm assuming this is the ultimate armor for, October when the next one rolls around. Just like with the last one, it was in November, I think it was, and we didn't actually get the announcement about it until, like, was it January or February? So the armor actually appeared in the files like 2+ months before it appeared in the game. So this one's probably going to be the same kind of thing. Unless they decide to give us 2. I don't know. I have no idea. I just work here. No, I'm kidding. I don't work here. I don't work for Deca at all. I just like to do this because it's fun. So I don't know if this is the ultimate armor for sure or not, since it's the only star metal I've seen since the ultimate armor back in November. I'm going to assume this is the ultimate armor, unless they bring out another one sometime, and I don't know. I don't know. Just assuming what I have in front of me. So that is that. Clean that up a little bit. Shouldn't be worried about that one because it's hidden behind the arm, but I'm doing it anyway. And where's the legs? There they are. Down here at the bottom. This one has a very mech feel to it. Like Battletech and Gundam. Very Battletech sort of feel to it. I think I caught the edge of the other one next to it. No, I didn't. Okay, good. Let me clean this up a little because this has a few of those edges on it. In a few different spots. Clean those up a little bit before I put this in. Oh, much better. Okay. So this is going to go right about... That's weird. Not sure what I think about that. That's weird. It's cool looking, but very different from any armor we've had in the past. Very different. Okay. So this has a very robot-esque look to it. There's also some bleeding edges on that hand too, or on this arm too, but I can clean those up before I put them in. And this little piece right here, for those of you who know the Halo games, is very reminiscent of the weapons that the Covenant carry. Not as long as it would be, of course, but they hold it here and it has that longer kind of spear shape coming out into a point. Not spear shape, but circle shape that comes out into a point. It looks reminiscent of that. But this is very Battletech, very Gundam look to it. Cool looking though. Don't get me wrong at all. I like the look. There's the shield. Yeah, it's a cool look. I like the robot style too. I like the look of the Decatron too. I wish they hadn't reskinned it and made that one that was kind of a combo reskin that was the Decatron with something else. I kind of wish they hadn't made that one because it kind of takes away from the Decatron's uniqueness. But so that covers up that thing entirely. But it is what it is. It's not like you need to see it, but kind of a bummer that it's covered up. And then we have this blade, which looks pretty cool. I do say so myself. And I do say so myself. This hand has got some bleeding edge on it too, but I'll clean that up in just a minute when I get this placed. Clean that up a little bit right there. And this doesn't really even need to be blended because it looks like it kind of goes in there already. Cool. Nice. Alright, now the rest of the hilt, where are you? Right there. Kind of small. Kind of a small handle on that one. Alright. Alrighty then. There we go. So there's that one. Pretty cool. I do like it. So let's do that right there. And before I move on, after I finish this one, I'm going to really quickly put the cape behind the, or on the exclusive armor, just so you can kind of see it. Yeah, about 235. No, maybe 240. Give it a bit more room. There we go. Cool. All right, let's close this. Let's go back to here. Now that I've got them all in this folder, I can take the dual spirit right here. I can open that one up. Go back to here and open that one up. And we're going to take this one right here. This is the one that's kind of more opened, if you will, as opposed to the more collapsed one when you're just standing still. Make a new layer. We're going to actually, before I do that, let me resize this. Probably more than I need, but it's fine. We're going to first of all cut all this stuff out of here because I don't really need it in there. Oops. Getting a little crazy with the delete there. Okay. Now I need to move that down to here, or thereabouts, and make my layer behind it, and drop this kind of in place right about there. Let's see here, where's the center? There's the center right there, right about there. It doesn't really work well with a shield. They kind of get hidden by the shield, but it is there. It just doesn't look as good as it could, really. Like about like that. It's a smaller one, so it does make kind of cleaning it up a little bit easier. It isn't quite as complicated as some of the previous ones that are like, 3 times the size of the armor or whatever. So let's make that back into one layer again. And we're going to move it up to here. Kind of up into the same general vicinity I usually do these. And I'm going to resize this to 80. Okay, cool. Like about like that. Well, actually, let's do that to 270. There we go, much better. And we're going to resize this one down to about 220, so it's a little smaller. And we'll save that with a different name, so we don't accidentally overwrite the previous one. There we go. Cool. All right. Now, let me jump back to my other folder here. Take a look at the one I did, this one right here, and look at that one as my size reference, because that's what this will end up being, roughly the same size. So that's 1350 by 1100. Okay. So we're going to draw our squares at about the... I'm going to make this in just a little bit shorter because these are females and they're not quite as tall. So right about there. So just slightly shorter. I usually do 350 and 700. I did 340 and 680 that time. Okay. Now we can go back to here. We're now going to start putting the sheet armors on the sheet here. We're actually going to move this. I'm going to go to here. Take the armor, drop it on here, make sure it goes over the line, and it does. Beautiful. Okay. And Spirit Earth, the second one, which is our raid armor. It's going to go next. Right about there. I kind of bunch it up against it as close as I can without going over the top of the next one. Hello, Mr. Armor. I've seen you too many times. Too many times for you. You are in jail. You cannot come out again. There's Spirit Water. Again, trying to butt it up against to it as close as I can without going over the top of the other one. And there's our dual spirit. Right there. This is going to end up being a little bit wide, but not too much, I don't think. Should be okay, I think. Okay. And that one is going to go down here. Just a little over that line. So that should be good right there. This one is humongous. It's the widest one, I think, in the files. I may have to move that one around a little bit too, but I can do that in a minute once I get them all laid out. This one, these two spirit airs are humongous. Throwing all my other armors out of balance. They're like, it's looking like it's starting to shift over slightly to one side. These ones are not lining up as well. So I may realign the top row and leave the bottom row as is. And that one is just tiny by comparison. Look how puny that thing is, even compared to the other spirit water right above it. It's puny. And we have our star metal. That's going to go right about there. Cool. That actually worked out well. So I may just shorten this up to maybe chop off that extra on the edge. I may leave it as it is. I don't know. Have to see what it looks like. Okay, let me quickly save this. Move you out of the way. Go to there. Save this one as the July file. So I have a copy of it already saved out of my way. Groovy. Okay. Now, let's do the rings and amulets. Amulet number 1. Right about there. Whoop. Nope, don't go down that far. Actually, I'm going to make a new layer just so I can do this. I can drag it right over the top, and it doesn't override it. Yay. So I can move it down a little closer without it going over the top of that effect on the top of the head. Just to clean it up a little. Okay, and that one goes right about there. Okay, amulet for this one. Sorry, just looking at the chat and they're being funny. It's a wild Blando. Yes, it is. Is that the Pang? Is that the Sirac? I wouldn't be surprised if that was. Yeah, this armor I think has been done enough. I don't think we need any more of those. I may mention that to Deca as well tomorrow when I talk to him about it. Because I'm still waiting for some updated stats, because there's... they didn't send me a complete list this time around, because they were still trying to get everything finalized for the Decaversary, so they're running a bit behind. So I need to ask him about that too. About that armor being in there again. And there also being a possibly missing armor as well. Because there should be 11, and there's only 10. Well, there technically should be 10, and there's the star metal armor, which would make it 11. Because there should be 3 raid armors, and there's only 2. So, that is what it is. We'll see what happens. Okay. Had someone just message me online. I don't know what they're talking about. I'll have to check it in a minute. Okay, and then we have Spirit Air over here. And again, on these Spirit Airs, I'm not positive these are right. I think they are, but they're so similar and kind of the color schemes between them, I'm not really sure. I mean, they're not exactly the same, obviously. There's definite differences, but the overall kind of design of them is very similar, to my eyes, anyway. So they're not as easy to kind of spot which one goes where. This one was easy because this looks just like the weapon right there. And then the the ring looks just like the face, like right there. Looks just like that. So that one was an easy one. Some of them, though, on this were just not obvious. Then we have our star metal over here on the far right. Right there. And then we have that right there. Like about like that. Ta-da! So there's the armor. So let me give a quick breakdown of what I think the armors are likely going to be. Of course, I'm not always right. Sometimes I'm wrong. But I think our very first armor, sorry, opening up here. Very first armor here, Spirit Earth, is going to be fusion. The Spirit Earth next up is going to be a raid armor. Spirit Fire, I'm thinking, is probably going to be a raid armor as well. Spirit Water here, I think, is likely going to be a war. Not positive, but I think it's war. Then, of course, we have the exclusive, the Dual Spirit. Then we have the Spirit Fire. That would be seasonal. Spirit Air, I'm a toss-up between these two. I don't really know. My guess is that the right-hand one will be seasonal, the left-hand one will be war, but I could be wrong. Spirit Water down here is likely going to be... sorry, I'm totally drawing a blank. Likely going to be seasonal. I think this one's war and this one's seasonal, but again, I'm not sure. And then the Star Metal, of course, down here in the bottom right, is our ultimate armor, most likely. So let me get my elements. 1 second, let me jump to my other screen where they are. Let me first of all put the Star Metal where it belongs. Now my assumption, given what we had with this most recent one, is that we're going to have a dual Star Metal again. I'm just assuming, because I had heard that it was going to be single Star Metal, just mono Star Metal. Ended up being dual, so I'm going to assume this one's dual as well. I don't know any different. I can't say for sure, but I would assume so. All right, let's do our waters first. Water down here can go right about there and right about there. See if I lined that up right. Yep, looks good. Then we'll go to fire, and that's going to be, whoops, over here, wrong window. It's going to be right here. And right here. Right about there. Then we will jump over to the earth. Put those right here. About like that. And about like that. And then we have air, which is down here at the bottom. So unlike most months, there are 2 of each element combination. With a lot of months recently, we've only had like one of the off elements, like for example, water spirit in water month. There was only one water spirit, so that was easy. Just as an example. But this month, there's one of each, except for the dual and of course the star metal. So it's not as easy necessarily to figure out what the war armors are versus seasonals. But like I said, my assumption is that the looking at the files, looking at the images, it's probably going to be what I thought, like I said earlier. So fusion, raid, war, exclusive, seasonal, war, seasonal, ultimate. That's what I think it will most likely be. Can't guarantee it, of course. I have been wrong before, but I think that's a very likely estimate, or prediction, if you will, of what they are going to be. And then we have our dual over here on the far right, and put our dual spirit icons there. And put a spirit here. Finish this all up. And then I can start throwing all the other stuff on here as well. And there's our elements. Ta-da! Let me save that. All right, so now it's time to start filling in some of the details. Let's go to here. Select my default font here before I move on. We're going to drop a text box right about here. Oh, I forget I have something selected still. Let me try that again. There we go. I always make that box a little too big for some reason. Not sure why I do that, but I do it almost every time. And this time I almost made it too small. That's what I get for opening my mouth. Okay, there we go. That should work. Now we're going to go back to here. We're going to get the materials. And again, I don't know which one's which. I don't know which one's exclusive versus seasonal. But I'm just dropping them in here so that people can see them, know what they're looking for, what's coming up, that sort of thing. I should have moved that other one down a bit. There we go. So they're kind of more in line with each other, because if I move this up too high, it overlaps that. I don't want that to happen. Like about like that. Okay. So there's our crafting materials. My guess is that this right-hand one's exclusive, but that's just a guess. I'm not really sure. All right. So let's move on to pets. Tier 1. Put you right about here. Looks like a dog. And tier 2, about the same rough vicinity. Tier 3, and of course I can move these if they get a little bit too close to that side there where the crafting materials are. Right about there. Tier 4, stop it, you goofy thing. What happened? Why is the bottom of that chopped off? The bottom is chopped off in the original image. Wow. That I have not seen before. I may actually have to copy and paste one of the other ones to kind of fill that in. That I've never seen. I've never seen an image get chopped off like that for the pets. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in like this. I'm going to cut from right here. Actually, I don't think I even need that much. No, I don't. Let's go to here. Went the same, almost exactly the same place. A little bit lower. I don't need quite that much. And I just copied it again. I need it from over here. Derp. See if I can clean this up a little bit, make it look a little nicer. There we go. That's much better. Okay. That's just weird. I have never seen that before. I've never seen a pet image like this avatar. Never seen that happen before. Never had one cut off. Ever. I'm trying to line this up so that it matches up to that one. Not always as easy as it might look. Right there. Okay, so now I'm going to zoom in on this and try to get as close to this upper edge as I possibly can so that I can butt it up against the ones above it without overlapping. There we go. Move. Right about there. Cool. All right. Another text box. All right, that's that. Okay, and now we can put our bosses in here. So this is our Spirit Earth boss, right there. Put that one. Let me zoom in a little bit on this too so I can get these aligned as well. And Spirit Fire, which has been used before. I believe I said that already, but just in case. Kind of line that up to the outer edges of this box here so they kind of line up a little bit. Now I can jump back to my other folder where my, whoops, wrong place entirely. Nope, that's not it. Sorry, I'm jumping around on my windows here. I'm trying to find my folder because I need to put my spirit emblems down here. Zoom in a bit more so I can see this a little bit better. So let's see here. So let's put it about 880. Move you over here to about 880. And I can, of course, always move it out a little ways. Actually, I'll move that one in, and I'll do the same on the other one. That looks pretty good. Okay. Now I go back to my fire, drop you down over here. Like about like that. And then my earth, I can drop this in right down about here. Like about like that. Actually, just a bit more to the right. There we go. There's our bosses. Cool. And now I can do another text box. Whoops. Click. There we go. And we are very nearly done. Made that box a little large, but that's okay. I can always move it around a bit if I need to. Right about there. Cool. All right, and it's time for the cape. Oops, I'm in the wrong window. That's the one I wanted right there. I need the cape. This is going to go over right about here. Move that up just a bit. And then we will go back here and we'll grab the exclusive and put it just to the right of it. Like so. And like I said earlier, I do fully expect this to change. I don't expect this to be the final version of these files. I think there's likely going to be another pack of data coming out here in the near future. I just don't know when or what it will contain. But I'm just going to say for now that there should be an update to this at some point in the near future. Oops. See vape. Okay, cape. There we go. Okay. And that is mostly that. So I'm going to definitely be able to shorten this up. I'm actually going to move these pets up a little bit so they're not quite so far down, so I can shorten the thing up a little bit for now. I may end up having to make it bigger, of course. I may end up actually just making it wider so it's not quite as narrow to fit in more bosses or not more armors, and then I may revamp the bottom section with the bosses to do that too. But we will see. Okay, so let's see where we're at here. Let me first of all put my text in how I normally do. Let me save it really quick before I move on first though. So let's go back to the background. That's what it looks like. Much better. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to change my font, or change my color, excuse me. We're going to change it to centered. And we're going to say, so this one is first row, second armor. We're going to change this down a bit so it's not quite as big. First row, second armor. Like so. And then this one, I'm assuming is this one, so I'm just going to say it is. So this is going to be first row, second row, derp, third armor. There we go. It's actually pretty centered already. I'll just move it a little. So that one should be this one. Those two right there. So they line up perfectly with first row, second, and third armors. Okay. So now we can click out of that. Go back into here again. We're now going to change our font over to this red. Here, and we're going to say this is July 2020. I don't know why this does this to me every time. I can't see it. I gotta zoom out. Stop it, you stupid thing. It zooms on me. I gotta fix that before I move on. There we go. Actually, mine lines up pretty well, pretty perfectly. And now I've just got to find a place. I'm going to move, actually. I'm going to go over to here, and I put that right on top of the bottom layer. I'm going to move this, actually, over to here. Just a little bit to the left of where it was. Because I need to have a place to put my thing here that says Season 48. Or did I... is that how I do it normally? Let me check. I'm totally drawing a blank here. Derp! Okay, let's see. What do I have here? That's what I thought. Okay. Just making sure. So this is Season 48. Fire. I want to move that kind of into that region there. But I am going to make that one bigger. so it's more obvious. Maybe not quite that big. I do 24. There we go. And then I'm going to add an effect to it. Make it kind of glowy, so it kind of sticks out a bit more. Okay, and there we are. So one final time. Spirit Earth here at the top left. This is going to be our fusion, raid, war, exclusive, seasonal, war, seasonal, ultimate. There we are. So that's it. I'm gonna to chop up this bottom edge a little bit here. Where are we at? Almost exactly 1050. Perfect. Ta-da! I may end up having to, of course, revamp this later, and if I do, that's fine. I'll do it offline. But that's it for this month. So thanks everyone for joining in for the live stream. Spirit should be spirit. Sorry, what are you talking about? Silver Arrow? What are you talking about? Spirit should be spirit. Oh God, you're right. Never mind. I'm sorry. I didn't even see that. My brain. I saw the 48. I saw 47 fire. Duh. Let's try that again, shall we? With less failure this time. Let's undo that. Let's delete that entirely. Thanks for catching that. I would have felt really stupid. Let's try that again. This time with less failure. Okay. And we'll do that effect again. A derp. Thanks for catching that. I would have felt really stupid. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks for paying attention when I wasn't. Okay, there we go. All right, so let me shorten this back up again. Whoops. Nope, don't do that. Height. There we go. Save that again one final time. And we're done. So we'll go ahead and finish this up. I'll put this up on KnD bot here shortly with my predictions. And if anyone has any questions, hit me up online. And thanks for everyone for joining in. I know it's kind of a late Tuesday night for most people that are in the U.S., but we're done for this month anyway. And I will update this, of course, if I have any more information in the coming weeks. And everyone have a great rest of your evening, and I will talk to you the next time. Thanks.